You believe there are people inside the United States, inside the government, at high levels, that were involved in orchestrating 9/11?
Absolutely. I'm 100% sure.
You think your son was therefore murdered by Americans?
Absolutely.
9/11's an inside job. The government carried it out. Investigate it. They're using it to take your freedoms, just like Hitler firebombed his own Reichstag. We have the official government U.S. documents where they plan to carry out 9/11. Operation Northwood.
Even Lee Hamilton, the co-chair of the 9/11 Commission itself, admits to us that the process he headed up was seriously flawed.
So there are all kinds of reasons. We thought we were set up to fail. We got started late. We had a very short time frame. Indeed, we had to get it extended. We did not have enough money. They were afraid we were going to hang somebody, that we would point the finger at.
Is one of the reasons why these guys aren't getting funded and it's so late is that someone's got something to hide?
There is, well, a lot of people have things to hide.
Well, who in this case?
Well, look, you can go down the list and probably identify 100 people.
Do you believe that the government had anything to do with the attack of 9/11? Do you believe in a conspiracy in terms of the attack of 9/11?
No, but I do believe that it is the first time in history that fire has ever melted steel. I do believe that it defies physics for the World Trade Center Tower 7, Building 7, which collapsed in on itself. It is impossible for a building to fall the way it fell without explosives being involved. World Trade Center 7. World Trader 1 and 2 got hit by planes. 7, miraculously, the first time in history, steel was melted by fire.
You had some interesting comments. You were on a radio show and you talked about 9/11, and you have is it a theory or you just don't believe the government account of what happened on 9/11?
I just had questions.
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions, and the forum I chose to voice those questions in is the Alex Jones radio show, and just because he's a guy that I've been a fan of and followed for a lot of years, and you know, I got attacked. I mean, there were a lot of hit pieces. The reaction was
people get
severe.
very mad when celebrities have opinions.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I know he's not qualified. He doesn't. You know, he's just who the hell is he to have an opinion about something so horrible? And you know, it was sad because they didn't really take a look at any of the stuff I was asking them to look at, any of the evidence or any of the stuff that generated those questions. You know, and they said, oh, he's another tinfoil hat wearing Hollywood clown. You know, and it's like the only. You know, I felt that the only real validation I needed was just being a tax-paying American that loves my country.
Hi, Wolf. There are indications we may not have been told the truth about what happened on September 11, 2001.
I was sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower of a TV. You know, the TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot. And I said it must have been a horrible accident.
Now, wait a minute. George Bush was told about the second plane while he was inside the classroom. So you just heard him describe seeing the first plane crash on television that day. But that's impossible. No one saw the first plane crash on TV on September the 11th.
Have a sense, if we imagine the kind of world we would face if the people who bombed the Best Hall in Mosul, or the people who did the bombing in Spain, or the people who attacked the United States in New York, shot down the plane over Pennsylvania, attacked.
Them people, law enforcement, would be on calling that. Were here and they were shaking in their shoes. They were physically shaking, scared to death because certain people said, I'm a radical, I'm a wild man, I got a gun under every arm, you say anything to me, I'll shoot you. If the people find out how they've been ripped off and enslaved, they will revolt. There'll be blood running in the streets.
This is the place where cops are rushing the building. Paramilitary death squads murder your children. Empty shell of a man, licking shots in the air. Soldiers dying out there, but nobody cares. Prepare for the future, but make note of the past. To be condemned, to live it again and get blast. Class warfare, kept out of the news. Replaced by corporations, political views. Cause this is where the guns are manufactured and sold. The land that was stolen, stripped of all of its gold. Old timers on a deathbed, speaking of wisdom. Immigrants crucified by conservative Christians. And we all got freedom to die in the street. But the difference is more of us die in a week than they die in a year. I made it clear where I stand when the line is drawn. But now the line is gone and nigga, anything goes. The land where the guns don't let anything grow. And what the fuck you niggas know about living in hell? You're not built like me, you never lived in a cell. You never gambled with your soul, fuck the ice in your hand. Gun in your palm, but you got a nigga's life in your hand. Young man, just remember that slice in a gram is a bloody game like throwing rice in a fan. My words flow like the rivers that's west of Iran. The fertile crescent moon with the star in the middle. I reveal the depth of history, scars when I scribble. I gave you the world and I ain't even charge you a little. The martyr is crippled, the prophets are dead and buried, but the message is simple. And it's not written down in holy books as a riddle. Now we running through the streets, starving on that guerrilla warfare. Our people stuck in a guerrilla warfare. Innocent children screaming in tears. You acting like the army ain't brought hell here. Military industry having a swell year, swinging again and lying in heaven, living off a blank check after 9/11. But I'ma have the truth brought back to the source. Fight for my land with physical force. Speak through music, the subliminal course. I need the tech in the clip, fuck a chain in the Porsche. Land of the gun, land of the gun, land of the gun, land of the gun. Yeah, yeah, immortal technique. Harlem, hello.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
From 1945 and the end of the war through 1989 and the end of the Cold War, we had a worldview. Republican and Democratic presidents alike, from Harry Truman to George Bush, stood for freedom and stood for certain propositions that would make America strong and healthy and grow the middle class and shrink poverty and stand against communism. And after 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
Last winter, the FBI was praised for its speed in cracking the case of the World Trade Center bombing and bringing 4 suspects to trial. Now, there is some evidence that the FBI may have known of the plot in advance through an informant and might even have stopped the bombing that killed 6 people. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has the story.
FBI agents might have been able to prevent last February's deadly explosion at New York's World Trade Center. They discussed secretly substituting harmless powder for the explosives, but they didn't, according to the FBI's own informant, Imad Salem. Unbeknownst to the FBI at the time, Salem recorded many of his conversations with his handlers.
I'm holding 903 pages of draft transcripts.
William Kunstler represents Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman and several others charged with conspiring to blow up a series of New York City landmarks 4 months after the World Trade Center bombing. That case has not yet gone to trial. Kunstler confirmed newspaper reports of the Salem transcripts. In one, Salem complains to an FBI agent, "Since the bomb went off, I feel terrible. I feel bad. I feel here is people who don't listen." The agent replies, "Hey, I mean, it wasn't like you didn't try and I didn't try. You can't force people to do the right thing."
There is material in here to show gross governmental misconduct.
Today, attorneys for the defendants in the ongoing World Trade Center bombing case formally asked for the transcripts of Salem's tapes.
Quite frankly, beyond me, why now, the 4th week into the trial, We still don't have these materials.
Prosecutors have refused to comment publicly, but legal experts say the defense may have no right to those transcripts.
It's not a defense to a crime to say, if only the government had stopped me, I wouldn't have done it. So this isn't material that ordinarily the defense would be entitled to.
It's going somewhere.